Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into the tough decisions every single business owner has to make, whether they're running a tiny coffee shop or a giant car company. I mean, you've seen it, right? The line is out the door, and you're thinking, just hire another person. It seems so obvious. But the real reason they don't is way more interesting than you think. It all comes down to the fundamental rules of production and cost. So, to really get to the bottom of this puzzle, we first have to talk about what technology means to an economist. And spoiler alert, it's probably not what you're holding in your hand right now. Yeah, forget about silicone chips for a minute. In economics, technology is the whole recipe. It's the system, the process a business uses to turn stuff like labor and machines into the thing they actually sell. It's the how of making something. To make this all feel a bit more real, let's follow the story of an entrepreneur. We'll call her Jill. She's opening her very first pizza shop, and her journey is the perfect way to see how these big, abstract ideas play out in the real world. Okay, so Jill's ready to open, but first, she's got some big decisions to make. And to do that, she has to get a handle on her costs in what economists call the short run. That's basically any period of time where at least one of her costs is totally locked in. In this short run, some of her bills are what we call fixed costs. Think of the rent for her shop or the lease on her pizza ovens. It doesn't matter if she sells one pizza or 1,000, that bill is the same. But then she has variable costs, like pizza dough and the wages for her workers. The more pizza she makes, the higher those costs go. And let's put some real numbers on this. Her 2 pizza ovens, that's a fixed cost of $800 a week no matter what. But every worker she brings on adds another $650 to her weekly variable costs. This is the basic trade-off she's juggling every single week. All right, so Jill's Pizzeria is open for business, and things are picking up. Now we get to the real heart of her problem. How many people should she hire to make more pizzas? Now, check this out. Her very first worker is a superstar, cranking out 200 pizzas. But when she hires a second person, something amazing happens. They can specialize. One person can stretch the dough while the other handles the toppings and the oven. Their total output jumps to 450, meaning that second worker added 250 more pizzas. That's a huge boost. Economists call that extra output the marginal product. But wait a minute. Look what happens with the third worker. They only add 100 more pizzas. And the fourth? Just 50? The total number of pizzas is still going up, sure, but the benefit from each new hire is just falling off a cliff. What in the world is happening here? Well, this is the famous law of diminishing returns in action. Jill's kitchen space and her 2 pizza ovens are her fixed inputs. As she keeps adding more workers, her variable input, they literally start getting in each other's way. There's only so much oven space, and pretty soon, you've got too many cooks in the kitchen. This isn't some new idea. Way back in the day, Adam Smith saw the incredible power of specialization in a pin factory, where it made productivity just explode. Jill saw that same magic with her second worker. The problem is, her fixed-size kitchen put a hard limit on those gains. Okay, so this is where it gets really critical. This change in worker productivity, this whole diminishing returns thing, has a direct, and I mean dramatic, impact on the cost of making each and every pizza. This right here, this is the sweet spot. When that second worker is hired and productivity is at its peak, the cost to make just one more pizza, what we call the marginal cost, is at its absolute lowest, just $2.60. She is getting the maximum bang for her buck. But then, yikes, look what happens with worker number 4. Their productivity is way down. They only add 50 more pizzas. Because of that, the cost to make that next pizza skyrockets all the way to $13. She's paying a full salary for way less output. And when you plot out the average cost for every pizza she makes, you get this classic U-shaped curve. See how it starts high at over $7? Then, with that second worker, it drops to its most efficient point, $4.67. But after that, as diminishing returns kick in, the average cost starts to climb right back up. Here's a great way to think about it. It's just like your grade point average. As long as your grade for this semester, your marginal grade, is lower than your overall GPA, it's going to pull that average down. It's the same exact idea with costs. As long as the cost of making the next pizza is below the average, it keeps pulling that average cost down with it. So up until now, Jill's been kind of trapped by her two ovens. But what happens when she can think bigger, beyond just her current kitchen? Well, let's step into what economists call the long run, where absolutely nothing is fixed. This is where that magical phrase, economies of scale, comes in. The idea is that as Jill's business gets bigger, say if she opens a much larger pizzeria or even a small factory, her average costs can actually go down. She can buy ingredients in bulk, get more efficient ovens, all that good stuff. But, and there's always a but in economics, right? Getting bigger isn't always better. You can actually get too big. As this executive from Toyota explained, sometimes massive operations become so complex and bureaucratic that they actually get less efficient. That's called diseconomies of scale. And for a perfect example of this, look no further than Henry Ford. His incredible River Rouge factory was an engineering marvel, but it ended up being just too massive to manage effectively. It's a classic case study showing that there is a delicate balance between growing for efficiency and growing so big you just lose control.
Okay, so we've been on quite the journey with Jill, from her very first pizza to dreaming about a massive factory. What are the big, important ideas you should really take away from all this?
It really all boils down to these four things. Understanding the difference between the short run and the long run, the inescapable law of diminishing returns, the fact that productivity and cost are just two sides of the same coin, and finally, the delicate dance of economies of scale. These are the concepts that drive business decisions everywhere. And that takes us all the way back to the beginning. The next time you're standing in line at a busy shop, you won't just see a line. You'll see a complex economic problem playing out right in front of you. A business wrestling with its fixed costs, its variable costs, and the powerful law of diminishing returns.